So it's one thing if a cop catches a child molester, but it's a whole different story when YouTubers and streamers expose one live, broadcasting it all to thousands of viewers in real time. So from Aiden Ross and Vitali's Catch a Predator show, to Skeeker Jeans and Judan busting predators, here's some child molesters who got caught by YouTubers. Starting with this 24-year-old alleged child predator named Moses A. Flores Coelho. Now this is Moses sitting with a decoy he believes is an underage boy. This vigilante-style operation was conducted by YouTubers Aiden Ross and Vitali, who had initially baited Moses into thinking he was coming over to have sex with the decoy. They planted multiple hidden cameras in the Sting house while broadcasting live to thousands of viewers on Kick, a live streaming platform. However, they made one little mistake and failed to get there on time, and the decoy almost got sexually assaulted by this alleged predator. A few minutes later, Vitali, Aiden Ross, and fresh and fit co-host Myron stormed into the apartment with one member of their crew.
Yes. Say hello to my little friend. Myron, what's up?
They all began questioning Mosey's intentions for coming over while seemingly threatening him with that alligator.
Okay. What are you intending to do today?
Hang out.
Hang out?
Yeah.
Hang out and do what?
See where it goes.
See where it goes. Are you aware of the fact that I have your text messages here? Okay. Said something about making him your little slut.
Myron Gaines also started to read an alleged text exchange between the decoy and Moses where Moses implied that the decoy's young age wasn't a problem for him and that he was down for sex. Gaines then proceeded to go through Mosey's bag, allowing him to find some candy as well as a condom that he had brought along. Vitali then took it a step further by giving the alleged predator the world's hottest gummy bear to eat.
You want to eat that?
What is that? Doing me?
The world's hottest gummy bear, yeah.
Tastes good.
And after asking the suspect what he would do in their position, he said this.
Bro, what would you do? Just out of curiosity, what would you do if you were us? And you caught somebody trying to have sex with you?
Report.
Report?
Yeah.
Do you think someone like you deserves to be out in the free world?
You got me.
Shortly after, Miami-Dade police arrived.
Is available to you guys?
I think so,
Is he
yeah.
leaking anything personal or?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I hope so. Take it off.
And then he says, oh, interesting part. He says, use protection. He says, of course. We checked his bag, had 3 to 4 condoms, lubricant.
Gotcha.
He was held at the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center, while the department filed a report that he made attempts to cuddle, kiss, and touch the individual who was posing as a 15-year-old. Moses appeared before Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Mindy S. Glazer the next morning and was officially charged with traveling in or out of a state to meet a minor. He was able to post bond, and they told him to stay away from little kids while this case is going on. However, not every predator has been as calm and collected as Moses on Vitali's Catch a Predator live streams. Some have been quite aggressive, while others have tried to outsmart him. Take for instance this guy that ran away once he found out he got busted.
Yeah, stay down!
Come on, man, I didn't do anything, bro.
Now, this particular sting operation got negative reactions from the audience, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But first, in the video posted on YouTube, Aiden Ross, Vitali, and 2 other dudes were seated in this Mercedes Sprinter bus, dressed in suits, as Aiden read out supposed chats between an underage individual and a specific predator named George.
So what are you gonna do today? Hang out, talk, go from there. That's it? We aren't gonna have fun or anything? I'm sure we are, with a little winky face.
Hey, yo!
So he wants to you.
He does.
Of course.
So they drove to Florida to meet this guy, but once George saw him walking aggressively towards him, he jolted.
What?
Hey, sir. Hey! Get, motherfucker! Get!
Now, for some reason, this guy took off his shirt during that run, but he was eventually brought down by Vitali and his security, beginning what turned out to be one of the most intriguing catching predator moments ever live streamed.
Nasty ass. Disgusting. Nah, bro. Nah, there's no sorry in this shit. This man, this is a 50-year-old man trying to link up with a 15-year-old right here. A file right here. We have all the evidence.
I mean, judging from that cop's face, he's probably as confused as you are right now. But you're not alone, because hundreds of people who watched this stream felt it was all fake. Comments on Reddit and YouTube got people questioning if the situation was real, and even if it wasn't, they questioned why Vitaly and Ross would take the law into their own hands by tying him with a rope and forcing him to the ground. One Redditor wrote, "Aiden and Vitaly are both just don't deserve clout," while another wrote, "Clearly scripted. He was doing this a couple of weeks ago too, and it was so over the top it's not even funny. The cops even looked like they were plants. What happened to the days of real organic content?" While you can argue to some degree that it did seem kinda scripted, you need to realize that these guys had thousands of people watching this live stream. Aiden is definitely one of the biggest streamers out there, so who in their right mind would sign up to act as a child molester in front of thousands of people watching his stream? Well, he'd have a hard time finding a job anywhere after getting tagged as a molester on live stream. Even Aiden confirmed that thought at the beginning of the video when he said,
This is not scripted. I'm gonna explain why. Listen, I know, I got you. Guys, nobody is gonna be a paid actor for a pedophile.
That's crazy.
It is life ruining. He's never gonna get a job again. Like, bro, y'all are dumb as. Be smart. Nobody is scripting a child.
We're doing this where we live, and you don't share where you live.
but whether or not it was scripted, that's not for us to debate, because in the end, George was arrested by the police.
All you idiots saying script, look now.
Where's the camera?
Where's the camera, Jordan?
Come. Aiden.
Vitaly, we got
How's the
one,
water,
bro.
bro?
Let's go, Vitaly.
We don't know what happened to George after that, but we know that this next predator had no clue he was gonna get busted for hooking up with a boy. The sting operation involved one controversial internet personality in the Aiden and Vitaly tag team catch-and predator operation. And I'm talking about none other than Charleston White. You might know him from many appearances in the famous YouTube 20v1 videos, or for his little time with Brittany Renner on the Danza Project podcast. But whatever you know him for, when it came to catching predators, Charleston White was a totally different person. The sting operation began with a decoy reading out parts of his chat with the predator.
All right, so basically, this guy's 40 years old, meeting with a boy. I said, how old are you? 40, about to be. He said, be honest. I said, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 15, but I've had tons of experience with older guys. I just wanted to be honest with you so you can trust me. He's like, okay.
The predator wants to meet at downtown Miami in a shopping mall. After the decoy left to meet the predator, Aiden, Charleston, and Vitaly follow behind him. And then this happens.
Hello, sir. Nice to meet you.
15-year-old you're trying to meet.
Oh yeah, don't cry.
He trying to meet, say fresh and fit. What's up? Say he trying to meet. Say this guy right here. And it's on now.
Well, looks like this one got away through the mall's parking lot, but this next predator gets his car blocked by their van on the street.
You're a boy, yeah? You jerked off yesterday, huh?
What's the mess? Did you pull your dick out? No.
Why you sound like a girl? Why you sound like a girl?
Trying to 15-year-old boy. What was you doing?
Told you, Charleston was a different person on the show. And because he kind of scared the dude with the taser, he could have been charged with intentional infliction of emotional distress. So Vitaly and Aiden had to let that predator go, just so he didn't complicate things by calling the cops or anything.
Hey, just so you know, you're free to leave, you weirdo.
Yeah.
No one's blocking you. You're free to leave at any time. But hey, we know who you are. You pedophile piece of shit.
In total, they caught 4 alleged predators that day. But here's the thing, Aiden isn't the only YouTuber or streamer Vitaly has teamed up with to catch a predator. In fact, he's not the only YouTuber on this list, but more on that later. Vitaly once got with influencer and YouTuber Bradley Martin to conduct a sting operation, and who they ended up catching will leave you in shock.
Why are you here? Why are you sitting here?
I'm just having a
With a fucking year-old?
having a pizza.
Piece of pizza with a fucking year-old.
It's not against
You think
the
that's
law.
okay?
I think it's not against.
Yeah, it's not Joe Biden, but it's definitely Herschel Wingrod, a prominent Hollywood writer and producer who got caught on a date with a girl. If you don't know who Wingrod is, you might know him for his work as the writer behind the 1996 movie Space Jam. How about Trading Places, Twins, maybe Kindergarten Cop? Wingrod has like a solid portfolio, but that legacy went down the toilet in front of thousands of people watching live. While live streaming, the two YouTubers caught Herschel indulging in some predatory behavior with their decoy, and after a while, the decoy abruptly left the restaurant as Vitaly and Bradley walked in. Bradley questioned Wingrod, who at that point had absolutely no idea what was going on. But after he was pressed further, he confessed to the fact that he knew the girl was 15, and he says he met her on a dating site.
How old is she?
She said she was.
How did she tell you how old she actually is?
She's
She said she's 15. Why are you here? Why are you sitting here?
I'm just having a...
With a fucking 15-year-old?
But what really got people talking was him saying that he hadn't done anything against the law.
I think it's not against the law.
It's not against the law?
No.
Is that all you spoke about to her?
We've just been talking.
Really?
Yeah, we've been talking and flirting. It's not a big deal.
Where are you going?
Being somewhat of a celebrity, and after people started recording him, Mr. Wingrod had to leave the scene. But of course you can trust Vitali wasn't ready to let him off that easily. Although Herschel technically didn't break any laws, it's hard to ignore the questionable nature of his actions and intentions, especially in his chat with the decoy. And given the many films involving children he was a part of, he might just be another figure in the web of Hollywood conspiracies concerning kids. But in the end, he fled to security, forcing Vitali and his crew to let him go.
I'm like, we can't grab him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't grab him. You can't do that.
It ain't just Vitali out there catching molesters. We have fellow YouTuber Skeeter Gene, who teamed up with another YouTuber, Oma, to catch one of the most depraved-minded molesters of our time.
This 41-year-old man is here to meet me to do some nasty stuff, believing I am 15 years old and that I'm alone in this motel.
Yeah, you ain't in trouble, right?
No. Well, I don't want.
In this sting operation, Oma had gained contact with a 55-year-old dude who he decided to call Wheels because he was in a wheelchair. Skeeter Gene, another famous predator catcher, then set up a motel in Grand Rapids, Michigan, putting up multiple cameras to gather enough evidence to catch this predator. Oma was set to play the decoy, and during discussions with Wheels, it became clear that Wheels loved giving oral and was willing to do anything else the decoy wanted. Since Wheels was in that chair and the motel room was on the second floor, he suggested taking the decoy back to his place. But given that their setup was at the motel, Oma and Skeeter devised a plan. Oma would go downstairs to distract Wheels, while Skeeter sneaked out of the room to film him. Sounds like a solid plan, right? Wrong. Here's why. When Oma went downstairs to meet Wheels, he approached a car he thought was Wheels's, but inside was another predator named Jake. Okay, as Oma explained in his YouTube video, the idea behind catching these predators is to chat with as many of them as possible, to see which of them actually have the nerve to show up. Oma had been talking to Jake previously, so to his surprise, Jake showed up unannounced, meaning that there were now two predators in this sting operation. I mean, talk about being in the worst situation possible.
Down looking for that guy, and a whole different pedo was here. There's a whole different.
Wait, who are you just talking to?
A guy named Jake.
That wasn't Todd.
I thought that was Todd.
On top of that, Wheels arrived at that same motel and both dudes were outside.
Jake and Wheels are both out there right now. I know, Jake and Wheels are both out there. They're both out there right now. What do we do?
Now at that point, they had to choose one of these guys. So they went with Jake, because Wheels wasn't ready to get out of his car. Now here's the thing. Jake already had made it clear that he was scared to come up and frightened that he might get into some type of trouble for texting the decoy. Nonetheless, he went in the Sting motel room and this happened.
Well, that's tough, man.
Man, you were close.
I'm just talking. Just talking? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Skeeter was obviously taking a page from Chris Hansen's book on this one, but unlike Chris, Skeeter didn't have the cops waiting outside. So Jake literally stood up and walked out of the room a free man.
Oh, sorry, I have a few more questions for you,
No,
sir.
that's okay.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind. We'll just get this waiting.
Skeeter later called the cops, and all of Jake's information was passed down to him, but nothing has been heard of him ever since. Now the same, however, can't be said about 27-year-old Brian, who was arrested on the spot after visiting a decoy posing as an underage girl. In Brian's statement, he was just coming over to binge watch Shrek, but his chat suggests that he was coming over to binge on something more. This elaborate sting operation was put together by Skeeter Gene and Judan. Brian lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and met the decoy online. During those conversations, he made his intentions clear by saying that he believed his pee-pee would break her crotch and that he would do things to her that she could only imagine. I mean, who are we kidding? The guy cooked himself before getting into this sting house. There was no escaping this one. But the real drama unfolded upon his arrival.
I was thinking, like, I wanted to see, like, your game, so could you, like, take that pillow and, like put it on the floor and, like, show me it? I think you know what I mean.
Right off the bat, the decoy ridiculed Brian by making him show off his stroke game.
Yeah. How is this weird?
Just keep in mind that this was a 27-year-old dude humiliating himself in front of a supposed teenager. And it definitely must have been shameful knowing that Judan was live streaming everything to thousands of people. But anyway, the decoy found a way to excuse herself, and then Skeeter and Judan made her way to confront Brian.
What's your reason for being here?
I was just trying to come over and hang out. I'm not trying to do
Hang
anything
out.
sexual.
Okay.
I do not have any sexual content. No
No?
sexual talks with her.
Not even on the phone?
Not even on the phone.
As expected, Brian would deny everything, but of course, Skeeter was there with evidence from Brian's chat with the decoy, which suggested otherwise. So Brian specifically said in this chat that he wanted to reenact the donkey and dragon scene in Shrek. And if you're familiar with that scene, you'd know that it was a little bit inappropriate. Plus, he had condoms on him. The cops eventually arrived, and Brian got caught in his lies.
Is that you kind of dug yourself a pretty deep hole with this one, okay?
Yes.
And it's not something that's going to be a slap on the wrist and get out of here.
Yes.
So you're going to have to deal with it right now, okay?
Can't call Lester.
Now, Judan has also caught some chomos in his sting operation, but in his case, he caught 2 of them on the same night. You see, the first catch was 43-year-old Marco Rodriguez, who initiated conversation with the decoy on the Badu app. And despite the fact that the decoy made it clear that she was only 14, Marco continued having sexual conversations with her and even sent her an inappropriate photo of himself. At that point, it was clear what Marco was set up for. So Judan contacted the Houston Police Department to be present as things were about to go down. Now, Marco was smart, in some way. Immediately upon entering this sting house, he tells the decoy he doesn't trust her. He then asks her if she has a boyfriend or if anyone was home with her, to which she replied, no.
How old are you? What?
How old are you?
41.
41?
What?
Yeah, I just didn't work from there. There's a month ago.
Right after that, Judan and Skeeter appeared, with Judan playing some Mexican music.
You were speaking pretty good English just a little bit ago. We heard the whole thing, so.
No, my English I'll translate for the Google.
Marco was definitely a joker, but joke's on him when the cops come in the building.
Here, go ahead and stand up. Come here.
Okay.
Go ahead and put your head on your back.
Good.
W's
in shot, man. And thank you.
Nope.
Yeah.
I hope you're sorry to your wife and kids.
So while the cops are dealing with Marco, a second alleged pedo, identified online as Juicy J, makes his way to the sting house. Now we have 29-year-old Juicy J making contact with the decoy from the Kick app. The two would get to talking, and J claimed that he had never been with a but still didn't end the conversation though. He would brag about his 2020 Dodge Challenger and then requested to have some fun with the decoy. So once he got in, the decoy persuaded Jay to hit a piñata with her while covered with a blanket. Before he did that though, Jay wanted to check out what was behind the door. And when he opened it, Judan and Skeeter came out. But shockingly, Jay did this.
No. Hey. Whoa. Jump on, buddy. Jump on, buddy. Buddy, you dropped the phone. Buddy, you dropped the phone.
It was crazy, and many viewers believe Judan should have had the cops staged outside before even commencing that operation. But at the end of the day, these YouTubers are doing their best, putting themselves at risk to not only create content, but to get these pedos off the street. However, it seems that no one can do it as well as the man who popularized it all, Chris Hansen. Now, we believed it'd be wrong to make a video about catching predators without including this dude. Chris is obviously more than just a YouTuber, but over the years, he's uploaded some of the most thrilling sting operations on YouTube, and we believe it's only right to include him in this video. Take, for instance, the case of Michael Manzi.
What are you doing here today?
Well, I'm here because I was slightly concerned.
Concerned about what?
Well, concerned because she's talking to people that are a lot younger, a lot older on the website.
You might remember him from his obsession with weed and pizza, or his egg-shaped head. But the one thing you definitely can't forget is how Manzi tried to be smart and witty with Chris Hansen. At the time of the sting, 32-year-old Manzi was a self-employed tutor who had provided private lessons to wealthy children in Connecticut. But despite being so good at solving arithmetic problems, well, he landed himself in one problem he couldn't so easily solve. He met a girl online and proceeded to groom her by initiating sexual charged conversations. He would ask her a bunch of weird questions and at some point declared her to be his soulmate. But what Manzi didn't know was that this supposed was actually a decoy for the show. Now, for some reason, Manzi got suspicious and asked the decoy to send him a custom pic, which she willingly obliged to. And at that moment, his fears were quenched, and he agreed to meet up with this decoy on a random Sunday afternoon in a staged home under the guise of a math lesson. But the only person dishing out lessons that day would be Chris Hansen, who was patiently waiting for his arrival. Once Manzi got in, he sensed that decoy's behavior was off and decided to take a quick snoop around the house. But before he could go too far, Chris Hansen came out.
Well, I came over just to make sure that
everything was fine.
Everything was okay. I was not.
So you were going to search the house just now to make sure what?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Chris shut down this claim as he revealed details of their text messages. But Manzi, being all good with proving mathematical theorems and logical arguments, would blatantly lie in the face of truth. But all that changed when Hansen heard something which we'll play later. Manzi started pleading with Hansen, claiming he couldn't afford to get arrested.
I'm gonna get arrested. I know what's going to happen, sir. I really can't afford to do this. I can't.
Well, thankfully, it came at no cost. But unlike Manzi, who claimed to be there as a math tutor, this next one, Jeff Sokol, a 44-year-old man from Boston, was caught delivering pizza to a minor. However, Sokol wasn't a real delivery guy, rather he was only there to quench his appetite for sex. Now, before getting caught in the sting, Jeffrey Ben Sokol had been divorced for 10 years and had an obsession with sports. Unfortunately for him, though, he couldn't land a job in sports management, leading him down this dark road of depression and, of course, a depraved fetish for underage girls. So Jeff went ahead to groom someone he believed was a girl named Bailey online. Jeff had a lot of creepy and sexual conversations with her, some of which included him encouraging her to masturbate and asking if she trimmed her penis. Now, Sokol knew what he was doing, and it was all illegal, so he initiated talks about drawing up a fraudulent marriage contract in order to trick her into believing it would be legal for them to have sex. He probably thought he was a genius, but when Bailey agreed for him to come over to her staged home, Jeff really had no clue what he was about to walk into. October 3rd, 2015, Sokol drives 2.5 hours from his home in Boston to Fairfield, Connecticut, where he had planned to stay with the girl while her mother was away on business. With pizza, vodka, and some Ocean Spray orange juice, Jeff enters the home.
How long did it take you to get here?
I don't know, it took 2.5 hours.
That's a long drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm really nervous.
A few minutes later, you can hear the door creaking in the distance, and when Bailey goes to check it, Chris Hansen walks in. As you'd expect from a typical predator, Jeff gets all defensive, claiming that he's just hanging out with Bailey. But when Chris starts reading out their chat logs, Jeff realizes that he's busted.
Did you bring some kind of a contract with you? Some sort of marriage contract? I should come see you on Saturday. Well, since your mom isn't home, it's the best time to do it.
Chris and Jeff had this long conversation while Jeff tried to keep his cool. And when he decided to leave, he only walked outside to meet Fairfield deputies. This guy was put in handcuffs, taken to the station, and charged with first-degree sexual assault, attempted risk of injury to a minor, and enticing a minor in an obscene performance. In July 2017, Jeff Sokol was sentenced to 9 years in prison and 10 years of probation. Oh, and he has to register as a sex offender once he's out. Let's go to May 4th, 2024. In one of Vitali's nastiest Catch a Predator series, he would link up with American musical artist Ty Dolla $ign to catch a few predators. But the outcome wasn't what anyone saw coming. The two are out in LA hunting for pedos. And during the live stream, they encountered several individuals suspected of engaging in this predatory behavior. Vitali had already established contact with a few men, whom he met through various sites where he posed as a girl. Now, at one point during the stream, the pair ran up to a man who appeared to be in his 20s or 30s, and they eventually cornered him against a wall.
What's up, my boy? Come here. Come here. Yo, come here.
What happened?
Ty, you want to fix it? Fix it?
Why?
Because you want to f***ing meet a boy. We're going to make an example out of you, bro.
This would lead to them throwing a fake grenade that detonated just a bit of smoke. Ty and Vitali would find other alleged predators, however this time it wasn't such a good stream, as this one almost ended in a murder. Vitali and Ty would meet up with a 73-year-old man who had fallen for their sting operation with a decoy. However, when confronted, the man tried lying about everything, despite his chats with the decoy suggesting he wanted an intimate affair. This guy even sent pictures of his pee-pee, and after getting grilled with more questions, he finally admitted to being a pedophile. However, that's when things took a wild turn. A random passerby, who's obviously familiar with Vitali's Catching Predator series, came out of nowhere and punched this old guy in the face. He fell to the ground and cracked his head open.
I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Hey, I hope those women follow you, homie. I hope they follow you, dog. 'Cause I got kids, homeboy. I got kids.
No.
Some speculated that the man passed away, however, Vitali claimed that he was still alive. In an update, Vitali also revealed that the man was going to fully recover, in addition to being charged for his actions, and consequently, the man who knocked him out will also be prosecuted. Needless to say, this stream wasn't a good look for Kick, and an even more bizarre look for Ty and his brand. In the end, although these types of videos and live streams make for great content, they can sometimes devolve into vigilante missions without a true purpose. And while it's obvious some, if not all of these alleged child molesters caught by these YouTubers had evil intentions, these confrontations can sometimes go off the rails, making it harder for the real heroes in blue, the police, to lock these creeps up for good.